It is so good to be back for a welcome round of the 2023 One-Up Turbo Truck Series season. This is race 15 out of 20, and we are here at the Illinois State Fairgrounds, the Springfield Mile, because after some exciting heat races last week, we are here to bring it all to you again for the main event, 75 laps of hold your breath racing action here at the Springfield Mile. Now, in my absence, Duke Ansack and Miles Mashburn put on one hell of a show for you guys last time, and we thought it was such a good idea. We're bringing it back once more. So joining me for this race is both Duke Ansack and Miles Mashburn, because they just couldn't get enough of this slam bang and dirt action. And I tell you what, this is going to be a lot of fun to see 38 trucks do battle for 75 laps, when honestly, in the heats, we only had 10 at a time for 15 laps.
You're right, and I totally agree with you. It's fantastic to be back, and you said three words that I think will describe probably what we're going to see today very well. Slam, banging, and action. I think that all three of those are going to be great descriptors of everything we're going to see today. This race is going to be stunning. We saw in the heat races that it was just absolute chaos, a ton of drama, a ton of action, and there weren't even any points on the line. So I think today is going to be, if anything, even more intense. Everybody's going to be fighting even harder, just that much more now that points are on the line.
Right, and in those races, there's only 10 trucks apiece, and this one, not only are there points on the line, we got 38 trucks on the racetrack. There's really no predicting what's going to happen once they get going.
For sure, and everybody's hungry for points, of course, and then now that we can look at the starting lineup, we've got a lot of hungry drivers in the playoffs racing for a championship coming from behind to start this race. I'm talking, of course, about Francois Chastain, who won at Bristol, but now starts last here in Springfield. And we also have Samantha Jade and Nick Breeding, who start outside the top 30. But starting on pole for his Turbo Truck Series debut is Henry Thomas with teammate Nathan Ormond alongside. A Robbers Racing front row, and I fully expect these two to be contenders all day long, permitted, of course, they can make it to the checkered flag.
You're right. And we saw these two drivers have really great outings in the heat races, but like Miles said, it's just there's way more trucks in this race than we've seen all weekend. So this is going to be just stunning to see. I've got my eyes on Brandon Smith today because he has a lot to gain and not a lot to lose in this race, because he's already digging out of that big hole after a couple weeks ago having that terrible finish. So I'll tell you what, this is going to be a really interesting. We've seen him all season have a great, an 11.3 average finishing position on the season for Brandon Smith. That's amazing, better than anybody else. And he's starting in 6th place today. He's got to get up front quick, and he's got to stay there for the rest of this race. We'll see what he can do in that 18 truck.
So with that being said, we've got the 38 trucks on the grid ready to go, and we're ready to bring you some good old-fashioned dirt track in action from the Springfield Mile. This is the One-Up Turbo Truck Series from the Springfield Mile, and the green flag mere moments away. Getting ready for 75 intense laps at the Springfield Mile. Thomas and Ormond leading us to the green flag, which is out. It's in the air. We're underway at Springfield for 75 laps, and it looks pretty even going into turn 1 on the first lap, but already Thomas is starting to stretch out his lead, and we're already 3 wide further back in the pack.
Yeah, this is looking pretty similar to what we saw in our heat races with the 3 wide, all ready for the second position right there, going pretty low down into the corner. Look at this snarling pack all the way back. Everybody is 3 and 4 wide at this track, but clearing away is that 66 truck of Henry Thomas, leading the first lap and staying out front.
Yep, we'll have to see if he is
trouble in turn 1.
We already have a wreck.
Tegan Fox, and it's Bronson Minnick, one of our playoff contenders, involved in it. Nelson Reeves as well, Angel Gutierrez, Kyle Sustry, and Josh Gibson, all of whom, Art Sarkar as well. They're all involved in this wreck. Caution flies already, although, to be honest, were we that surprised?
Oh, wow. No, not at all. And that was a couple accidents all happening at once, it looked like. That was a lot of trucks involved. We'll have a lot to sort out as we take a look at some replays coming soon. But yeah, that was just a lot of hard hits into the outside wall and a lot of crashing all at once.
Yeah, that suddenly didn't. That definitely didn't take long to get that going. They right out of the gate, or looking to make some moves, and that can obviously lead to something like this, even on lap 2.
Yep, and we've already got 3 in the pit lane: Minnick, Fox, and Sarker. But and you saw DJ Curtis with some damage. You saw Nick Breeding with a little bit of side damage.
I
Man,
think Nelson Reeves was in it. Yeah.
he was. He absolutely was. He had a lot of damage on the rear and the front. We'll get to a replay now. It looks like it starts right here, and oh, DJ Curtis just got into that inside barrier and went bowling pretty much. Took out pretty much 4 cars, 5 cars, 6, 7 cars in one go with that one incident.
Yeah, and it's just that we saw that during the heat races as well. You just get too low into the corner. There's not enough room. You bounce off that inside wall and you get sent straight up the track, and you take everybody out with you, especially right after a double file restart.
Yeah, pretty much what Duke said. It's something we saw multiple times, and with even more trucks, I think that kind of stuff's just more likely to happen in the main event. And I really think we're just getting started here.
So we'll get you another look at this. Yeah, Curtis just clipped that barrier and went. Yeah, well, then Gibson comes down and collects Gutierrez and Sistri. So that is 7 trucks involved in that one incident. On lap 2, you see the smoke pouring out of the 88. That is just heartbreak for these guys who were hoping for such a strong run, and they don't even get to complete 2 laps.
Yeah, well, you have to remember that these trucks are using the entirety of the width of this racetrack. So you got somebody down low coming up the track, going to take out 4 or 5 right there. And then as you bounce off the wall, you're coming back down into traffic, and it's not that far away from the wall. You're 4 wide through the corners. There's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say that any better. It's almost like a super speedway, just how easily you can get taken out if they are taking up the whole racetrack like that. And it might just be a test of survival, but I also think the trucks out front are going to have an advantage because, as long as they can stay up front, they're not going to get caught in any sort of, line of trucks stopping on the track in front of them that they could run into.
And of course, this is considered what could probably considered to be the super speedway of dirt tracks right here. And granted, once we get this restart, it'll all be single file. Granted, how long it'll be before they go back to that pack racing, it's yet to be seen. But hopefully, once we get a restart under our belt, they might sort itself out and we can have a long green run for a little while.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch this restart and see who is able to make that move first, coming to the green flag. I'm sure that the 6 car or the 6 truck is going to be in prime position here to possibly jump low, make a move down there, and try to challenge for the lead. We didn't get a lot of laps of green flag racing, so we don't know if this 66 is really a truck that's going to be unstoppable today or not. He certainly looks like he is right now. The lights have gone off on our pace truck, so we'll go green next time by. But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating restart for sure to see who gets that run and who takes it where.
As Toad mentioned, this is something we didn't see in the heat races. We're going to be starting single file, so they're not going to be 2 by 2. They're not going to be all bunched together immediately. It might make things a bit more clean. I'm really curious to see how it goes.
So coming down the back straightaway to complete lap number 6, we're under our first caution of the afternoon for a 7 to 8 car pileup in turns 1 and 2. But it's the 2 Robbers trucks that continue to lead, Henry Thomas and Nathan Ormond. Henry Brown held station in 3rd, but critically, Brandon Smith moved up to 4th. Like you said at the top of the show, he needs a strong run, and he doesn't have much to lose. Expect that 18 to go all out to get at least to the lead.
Yeah, so they're coming around the corner right now, and they're about to take this green flag, and you're right. This is going to be a stunning restart. I'm sure everybody has been prepared for this all week. They knew it was coming, and they're waiting to see what's going to happen as they take the green flag.
Green flag back in the air. We're underway once again at the Springfield Mile, and Thomas leads them off fairly steadily, but we're already starting to fan out. This is no surprise. These trucks just love going to take up as much moisture off this racetrack as possible, where it's the most grippy. And here comes Brandon Smith on the inside, but Kev Shearer's taking a little peek on him. Tucks back in line.
Yeah, and you saw that 66 really make a good move to start this, to get after it after the restart, and make the move, get out front, not let anybody get next to him. But right now, a lot of challenge from that 6 truck of Nathan Ormond, who is now to the inside, the 66 and the 6. 3 6s all next to each other going into turn 3.
Yeah, not sure if that spells a good omen for the rest of this race, but we got a really good battle between these two drivers that have been strong all season, and these two trucks have been strong all season. And now we have Nathan Orman out front, and only his first handful of starts with Roberts Racing, it feels like he's been out front in almost every single one of them.
And don't look now, though, but here comes Brandon Smith in that 18 truck. We talked about him. He's got nothing to lose in this race. He's got to dig himself out of a hole. It's a championship or bust, and he's doing whatever he can now. Try and wrestle this lead away from Nathan Ormond as they come across the line to complete lap number 9. Ormond continues to lead, but Brandon Smith is not far behind.
Yeah, Brandon Smith, we said it, he's got 6 top 5s on the season, 8 top 10s. He's leading both of those categories. And now he's to the inside of Nathan Ormond. He's going to have a great run down to the bottom of turns 3 and 4. So we'll see if he's able to do anything with it. He slides up the track. He's not going to get there. And now there's challenge from behind as well. He's going to cut low and get to the inside and stay there, I guess. But yeah, this guy is great. He's Mr. Consistency, but he has a big hole to dig out of. He's 48 points back from the championship lead right now, and he's just barely beating on the wall. And the 6 is in the wall. Incredible.
Yeah, this is crazy already. They are really fighting for every single spot. But what's interesting is that we haven't really seen as much shuffling as we did in the heat races. The trucks that have been up front, especially the 66 and the 6 here, they have been able to stay up here so far. So we have those two together again into the wall.
A big crash in turns 1 and 2, and it involves our 2 leaders, Brandon Smith and Nathan Ormond, and you can see the smoke pouring out of the 18. We said it, didn't we? He had nothing to lose. He went for it, and now his second DNF in as many playoff races, probably going to signal the end of Brandon Smith's hopes of a championship.
Man, just, an absolute heartbreak for the 18 crew. Man, oh man, what a great run it was so far in this race, and it all ends in a cloud of smoke. That is just extremely disappointing, and they were just racing for the win, racing for the lead. It's only lap 13. You got to be careful. They had already made a little bit of contact, and now they're both in the pit lane. Wow, what a tough situation.
Yeah, he was really pushing for that lead, and I don't blame him when you need as many points as he does. But I don't think Nathan Orman liked when he was put to the wall, and I'm really curious to see if it was a bit of revenge or if it was perhaps another aggressive move from Smith.
Yeah, so we will get you a replay of what happens to both Smith and Ormond. You see Ormond trying to repair the damage on his number 6, but I have a feeling Brandon Smith, at least, will be out of this race. Ormond will try and continue, although he will be quite a ways off the pace, because this is a very fast track, and it looks like everybody's going to come into the pits, top off on fuel, and try and make it to the end.
Yeah, not a lot of tire wear to deal with here on the dirt track at Springfield, but it looks like our leader is going to lose the lead to the 92. He's
he took 2 tires on that stop.
Yeah, he goes to the opposite side of that official standing at the end of the lane. But yeah, I'll tell you what, that's going to be very interesting. We got some damage being caused in the pit lane. We got some bumping and banging with Earl Sear, Levi Thorley right there, and Shoy. That's interesting. We're going to get you a replay though of the incident.
And it all starts right here, and
It's hooked. Oh.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you pinch a guy into the wall and he's had enough of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can put the blame on either one of them there. That was just more hard racing, and it had to end up in failure for one of the two.
And it turned out to be a failure for both of these drivers, because, man, that was some extensive damage to both those guys right there. Incredible stuff. And we're not even a fifth of the way through. Here's another look at it. You see Thomas goes to the inside. Smith tried to give him room, and Ormond was already there.
Boy, what a hard hit into a concrete wall right there from Brandon Smith, and an even harder hit to his points championship situation. You know, he was already 48 points back from Francois Chastain, our leader, and yeah, now he's going to be even farther back. That's 2 last place finishes in a row. I'm not sure. That's going to be a really tough pill to swallow for that team.
Yeah, at this point, it would take a miracle, but it's racing. I would never put a miracle out of the question, honestly.
Yeah, and we've seen Brandon Smith win at Talladega before, and that's a couple races from now. So you never quite know what's going to happen in the Turbo Truck Series. You see Nathan Ormond back on track. He is a lap down now. But he is still running, and he'll try and get as many points as he can out of this. But like I said, he's probably going to be a sitting duck for the rest of the race. That truck has extensive damage, and no matter what they did on pit road, it's going to be slower.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, this is going to be a fascinating restart once we kind of shift our focus up to the front here. But it's going to be similar to last time, but now Nathan Ormond obviously not in the mix. He's going to head up there. Well, he's going to be sort of in the mix. He's going to be kind of blocking the way for people. There he goes. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what everybody does with having a lap car right there, or a lap truck, if you will. And it's I don't know. The last time it was pretty crazy, and they were going down into turn one. But we'll see. Now we got a few fresh faces up here. We've got our previous leader in the 66, Henry Thomas, is in 5th place coming to the restart. And now our new leader is that 92 truck. So that's Brian Grigsby, who put on a great show in his heat race. But yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, and like Toad mentioned, the 6 being a sitting duck here, there were a lot of other trucks with damage. I even saw one without a hood, and another one exiting the pit road late. So there's going to be a lot of damaged trucks trying to limp their way around the racetrack, and the faster trucks are going to have to hope to get around them safely, as we are about to go green.
Pace truck pulls off, leaves us in the hands of Brian Grigsby in the 92. Nathan Ormond in the 6 is a lap down, along with teammate Levi Forley. Heading into the restart zone we go. The green flag is back in the air, and for the 3rd time, we're back underway, with Brian Grigsby getting a good launch off the line, and like we predicted, that 6 truck is going backwards fast.
Yeah, they're 4 wide right behind him. That's not a great recipe right there. It could be a recipe for disaster. We will see what happens. Levi Thorley, in fact, was quicker than that 6 truck as well. And meanwhile, we've got a side-by-side battle for 2nd place. That's going to work out in the favor of the 65 truck right there, who is now going to move into 2nd place. Meanwhile, Brian Grigsby continues to lead the way after a great restart.
Yeah, now we got different faces out front, and they seem to be doing just as well as the ones we had before, though I'm wondering, I see Henry Thomas back there. I wonder how many spots he can make back up, but we have the 65 looking to take the lead now.
That is Jensen Nomina looking for the lead on Brian Grigsby, and he's been talking a big game. He's making a move to the Nitro National Series next season, but he wants to get a win here in the trucks before it's all said and done. He's making a move for the lead and moved Nomina to the top spot on lap 19.
Yeah, it's a great move from the 65 truck. Just got to the inside right there, nice and clean. Didn't push the envelope at all. Got down low, was able to make the pass in a couple corners and complete it. Now clear for the lead, at least for the moment, is the 65 truck. So you got to try to keep it out front right here. But the best place to avoid any kind of trouble is to just be ahead of all of it. So right now, these 2 trucks doing a great job of racing clean and staying ahead of all the issues.
Yeah, I don't think between the 4 heat races and the main that we really had any moment where the leader was able to just sit back and take a breather and know that, okay, I'm in the lead now, I don't have to focus on a truck nearby, because there's been constant challenging.
And remember, Jensen Nomina started this race in 23rd place. Now he's already fighting for the lead, although Grigsby's going to take it back. But that's still an impressive charge from the back to the front, or at least from the midfield to the front. Chris Harvey in that 05 truck, he started this race in 7th. Nathan Stapleton started this race in 9th. Maston Rimmel started 31st, and here he is in the top 5.
Yeah, this is a great run for the 05, and it was all about that strategy, the no tire strategy in the pit lane. Meanwhile, they keep swapping this top spot between the 65 and the 92. These two have been putting on a great show between each other, and they're not allowing anybody to catch up and really challenge for the lead, but they're both going back and forth with it. So you don't want to get too high on this racetrack, though. You can see that more brown section up top. You don't want to get up there. There's not any grip up there. You're going to have to slow down to avoid hitting the wall. We've seen it a little bit today, but yeah. So pushing the issue to the outside lane is Namina in the 65, but right now, for good reason, holding on to the lead and battling hard side by side, and there's almost contact. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx things, but the last time we had two trucks racing for the lead like this, that did not end well for either of them. And we've already seen a couple close calls. And the 92 getting loose on the bottom up almost into the door of the 65.
Yeah, these two are battling hard. They are not giving up. And why should they? We're about a third of the way through this race. And we have had a lot of exciting action as Grigsby once again takes the lead from Nomina in the 65. These two have been swapping it back and forth every other lap. And here comes Audrey Anzac in the 31 this week. She started back in 20th and is now in 3rd place.
Yeah, and that was a trial by fire situation for her during the heat races because it was absolute chaos and frantic racing, and she had been in a truck in a long time, much less on a dirt track in a long time. So now it's an absolutely stellar run to be sitting in 3rd place, or at least side by side for 3rd place. Right now, it's a great run for that 31 truck.
Yeah, not to mention she didn't have much time to prepare either, but now it looks like the top two are pulling away a little bit, but we got 3 wide for 3rd, and Henry Thomas is back in the picture.
Maston Rimmel, Chris Harvey, Audrey Anzac, Nathan Stapleton's up here. Samantha Jade, she started 33rd in this race and is now up into the top 10. A great run for a team that really needs one right about now.
Yeah, that's true. And this battle for the lead is getting real interesting because Henry Thomas has come back into the mix. This truck led for a lot of the race, fell behind a little bit on the strategy call, but now I wonder if those 2 tires are coming into play here because this truck is blazing fast, going all the way up into 2nd place, going side by side for the lead, able to hold it way down on the track, and now is going to possibly make a challenge to Brian Grigsby to get that, to regain that top spot.
Right, and I was wondering how many drivers we could see move through the field, and we've definitely seen some like Samantha Jade come pretty much all the way through the field, but consistently all weekend, Henry Thomas has been pretty much the fastest truck all weekend, and he is about to be up front once more.
And so he does. He takes the lead back from Brian Grigsby and leads another lap. We're entering lap 29 now. But here comes the 65 of Nomina back into play. And these trucks are still fanning out 2 and 3 wide through every corner. However, you see that yellow truck up ahead. That's Nathan Ormond. They're about to put him another lap down.
Yeah, that's going to be a real interesting moment for all these leaders. I'm sure that could cause some issue. This is a fantastic camera shot that we have. The wide view just shows exactly how little room there is on such a wide racetrack when you have so many trucks all side by side with each other and 3 wide. It's just incredible. We've got a new leader now. It is the 25 truck, and he's got it.
Yeah, Samantha Jade is doing an excellent job. She started in 33rd, but I believe that's her first lap led all season long, outside of the super speedways, perhaps. So, a strong effort from the 25 team, but here comes Nathan Stapleton. He was really strong in his heat race, and now he's going after the lead, but Ormond is closing in. He's very slow on the straightaways. We expect these guys to catch him on this straightaway right here.
This will be interesting. So which lane is going to get blocked up by the 6 truck of Nathan Ormond right now? Oh, it was both lanes sort of, but it's really the outside lane now that the 6 truck is going to block. And if they can get low, it'll be okay. But right now, that whole outside lane is getting stacked up, primarily that 65 truck. So good in this race so far, and now dropping, stuck behind Nathan Ormond.
Yeah, there's really nowhere to go to get out of the way on this track when they're taking up practically the whole track top to bottom. So you just gotta hope that everyone can get around. And right now it looks like, some trucks have been held up, but it seems to be going mostly okay right now.
Except for Jensen Nomina. He was running in the top spot, and now he's outside the top 10 entirely. But it is Nathan Stapleton now who has the lead in the 08. But I wouldn't be so sure if he can keep it for very long because Grigsby, Thomas, and Jade are all right in the mix.
He was running way outside in the last corner. It looks like this time he's going to slide up Once again, he's not going to get quite as high as he did last time, but yeah, this 92 of Grigsby is gaining time, going to the bottom here with a little bit of a run. Going to get low, slide up the track. Wow, it's going to maybe clear him right here, coming out of the corner. A great diamond move through the corner. You enter low, slide up, let it rotate, and then throttle off the corner in a straight line. A great move to take the lead from Brian Grigsby.
Yeah, this really is pretty much like a super speedway. They're still too wide. We even have trucks on the wall there, but still too wide pretty much throughout the whole field. Top 10s within a second of each other. There's not been a single moment to relax, and we have once again another challenge for the lead from Henry Thomas and Audrey Anzac.
Absolutely. These guys are... You're right, we haven't seen as much shuffling around as we've seen in the heats, although granted there were fewer trucks in those, but the trucks that have been up at the front have been there consistently, although I see a newcomer up at the front, and it's that red and white number 8 truck of Yadis Terzic. He was having a decent day in his heat. He started this race back in 16th, now he's challenging for a spot in the top 10.
Yeah, Terzic is up there right now, and meanwhile, Audrey Anzac has taken the lead in this race. I mean, we were talking about how great a run it is for this driver based on the circumstances, but to take the lead is another level, so that's great. Not that she's going to hold it for very long because the 08 is already low, and they're 3 wide right behind her for second place, and now she's in 3 wide for second place, and they're 4 wide for the lead coming across the line. Incredible. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, you can't really talk about the leader for long because by the time you get done talking about them, there's a new leader. And there's just so many battles happening. They're 4 wide again for pretty much an entire lap now.
And let's not forget, they're about to come up on another lap truck, this being the 47 of Nick Breeding. So these guys have got to mind their P's and Q's here because they got to settle themselves out before they get to that 47. But here comes the 47's teammate, Kev Shearer. We haven't talked about him much today, but here he comes trying to rebound after a middle-of-the-road showing at Bristol, and we almost had contact between the 08 and the 31.
This racing is stunning. I mean, it's right on the edge of grip and control, and nobody can get away from each other right now. It's just absolutely incredible. I've been holding my breath, seeing what's going to happen. It feels like every single time they go in and out of a corner, it looks like they're going to wreck, and somehow Henry Thomas has ended up back up front through all of it, and Audrey Anzac also fighting for it. So I'll tell you what, this is some incredible racing. They're going to catch this lap truck, but for now, a stellar job from all of these drivers to put on a great show, not crash right now, and just absolutely give all these fans an amazing journey. And I've got no idea who is the favorite, who could possibly win this race. It's incredible because Henry Thomas is in the wall, and they're still fighting for it.
Yeah, there have been, I want to say, at least 2 close calls every single lap near the front. There's just been so much action going on, and the fact that they've gone 4 wide and made all these moves for this amount of time, this is by far the longest run we've seen all weekend. So this is, you gotta wonder how much longer it's gonna last.
Yep, and they do make it past the lap truck of Nick Breeding fairly safely. At least the 2 leaders do. And now Thomas and Grigsby, they almost made contact with the 47 and the 66. They almost do it again with the 08. This is insane stuff right here. And he almost hits the 05 for good measure. He's trying to get out of the way. I don't doubt it at all that he's trying to get out of the way. There's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you got trucks on the inside, the wall on the outside, nothing you can do to get out of the way. It's just absolutely incredible. That's Kev Shearer, who has taken the lead now. Brian Grigsby is back in it. So we've had some repeat offenders, and here, look who's back. It's the 65 truck. I mean, that is just an incredible recovery from the last lap truck that we had issue with. So that was Nathan Ormond who took that 65 all the way to the back. Now back up front. So there's 3 trucks I'm circling right now. Keep your eye on these guys, the 66, the 92, and the 65. I believe those 3 trucks are people who are going to be fighting for the win if they make it to the end of the race. We'll see what happens.
I would not count the 02 out of it either. We've seen all day, even with all the shuffling out front, some trucks, mainly the 3 that Duke named off, even if they fell back, they made their way back up front. So it looks like Nathan Orman could be once again about to run into the rest of the field.
Yeah, this would be him going a third lap down at this point, but there's still a lot of racing to go, and I would fully expect these guys to try and be courteous to the 6, just as he's going to try and be courteous to them, as the driver he does not want to be courteous to anymore is out of the race already, so he's got nothing to worry about, really.
Yeah, and if I was driving any of these trucks, I probably would have crashed by this point. But if I were driving in this front pack right here, I would absolutely be trying to, as hard as I can, to get single file before you catch up to Nathan Orman.
Oh.
And across the track, it's Kev Shearer and Audrey Anzac involved as well. Oh my goodness!
Let's hope no one else gets damaged there.
Oh, we got
we
more.
have a couple more trucks making contact. Yep.
That was Noah Hart going all the way up into the cushion to avoid damage. So that's going to bring out our third caution of the race on lap 47. And honestly, I'm amazed we did not have more trucks involved in that. And that keeps Nick Orman from going hit that third lap down, too.
It certainly does. Wow, that was an incredible situation. We had a truck. It was Kev Shearer who was turned sideways across the track and hit the 31. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure how there were so few trucks involved in that as they slid off into the corner. So we'll get replays at some point. We're going to see first, though, if anybody makes a pit stop here.
They're plenty good.
They're plenty good. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll get you a replay soon, but that was a scary incident. Could have been a lot harder hits than there were, and a lot more damage caused. Look at this O2 truck is looking all right now.
Yeah, and he looks like he's going to try and reclaim his position, which he is allowed to do. Yeah, here's another look at it, and I think, yes, Nomina gets into Kev Shearer, tips him down the track, gets him into the 31, and they just go sliding for a quite impressive amount of time, actually.
Yeah, and then the avoiding into the corner is what caused, there was just some smoke and maybe somebody grinding against the wall. Was that guy right there?
That was Noah Hart in the 11 who went that high.
So that, it was just a classic stack up out of the corner and not enough room for everybody.
So you look at it now, and maybe Thomas didn't give Shearer enough room off the corner and got him into the 65, but regardless, two trucks go spinning, and they were prime contenders. They might still be, considering they still get to keep their original places, but I don't know. I think the 31 is fine. The O2 might have a little bit of damage on the right rear, but he should be fine too. I don't think this is going to change much, other than a restart.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what's going to happen is they're now in the back of the pack, so they're going to have to really fight.
No, they're not. They get to reclaim their spots in the top 10.
Oh, they certainly do. Okay, well then, in that case, yeah, this is going to be not much of a difference after a little bit of a slide. I mean, you don't flat spot your tires on the dirt, at least, and it looked like they kept them spinning, at least. So
yeah, and the 31's still in the 8th place.
Yeah, so, all right, hey, well, let's race. I mean, a slide, a spin, a caution, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, so many trucks had to make quick moves to not have that wreck be worse than it was, but by golly, they did it. So it could have been a lot worse, because we've seen some trucks with damage. Their damage was a lot more detrimental than just the scrapes that we saw from these last couple. So I think they're going to be good as we have some lap trucks lining up on the inside now.
Yeah, and we've got more of them this time than we had the previous restart. So I fully expect these guys to. Well, now Levi Forey's got a bit more damage than he previously had. He might be a bit slower now. I think Nick Breeding's going to be about the same pace, but Nathan Orman's going to be the big one. However, Henry Thomas and Brian Grigsby should be in a good position to keep it ahead of those guys, and throw in Jensen Nomina too. Like you said, these three trucks are running 1, 2, 3, and they have been the class of the field so far.
Yeah, they certainly have, and I'm deeply concerned about these lap trucks on the inside. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I am sure that it's going to be crazy. We've seen that all day today. I think if you're somebody in the top 10 right now, you got to stay to the outside. You do not want to get caught behind any of these three trucks that are on the bottom lane. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they all navigate as they come to the green flag right now. There it is in the air, and Henry Thomas gets the lead, or starts to stay side by side with Levi Thorley for now.
Yeah, if these three can get around the lap trucks on the bottom, I gotta wonder. They're definitely gonna be battling each other for the lead, and I gotta wonder if they're gonna go as hard as Nathan Orman and Brandon Smith earlier because they've been fast all racing along. What if they drop out? We could see some other people into the picture if that was the case, but hopefully they're gonna be cautious enough not to have the same fate.
And I want to give a shout out to a couple of guys we haven't mentioned all day, and they're now in the top 5. Aiden Smith in that 9 truck, he started back in 13th, and Max O'Quinn in the 38, who just passed the 9, he started next to last on this field, 37th. Now he's up into the top 5. Strong runs by those guys, scything their way through the field.
Yeah, these are our 3 strongest contenders now up front. We've got the 92 on the outside, Henry Thomas in the 66 in the middle, and then, of course, Namina on the inside in that 65. So those 3 trucks battling for the lead, for the win right now on lap 53 of this race, and it is intense, and they all know that they have a chance to win it, and they're really putting up a hard fight.
Yeah, I gotta know what happens as those 3 were able to get around Thorley and the others, and they're able to basically race to their heart's content in these final almost 20 laps now.
And how about DJ Curtis? He was involved in that second lap crash. Now he's fighting his way up to the top 5 in that black and gold 22 truck. So DJ Curtis, at just his second career start, is looking for his second top 10 in this series.
Yeah, DJ Curtis had a great outing in one of the heat races and had some issues, but so it's great to see that truck up near the front here, possibly fighting to get up towards the lead. And man, with every passing lap, these trucks get closer and closer to the inside wall through the corners, and that's just so dangerous here. We've seen a lot of incidents caused by that, and here's Henry Thomas going to the bottom, making the move for the lead. But I saw Earl Sear make a little bit of contact with the inside wall a few laps ago, and some others as well have just kind of grazed it. You don't want to get into that anymore. You really don't want to be anywhere near that inside wall because it will end your and a few others' races. But for now, that's what's happening, and we'll see if that causes any issues down the stretch.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that there was a rare occasion where we had 4 or so trucks actually single file for a minute, but that's not gonna last. They're just constantly making moves because of how many different lines you could take on this track and how much room there is to pass. As you see Brian Grigsby trying to use the bottom. I've noticed him using that line a lot and typically sliding up to get the most speed out of that truck.
And we're within the final 20 laps now, so these guys know that the urgency is high. They've got to give it everything they've got to make sure they're in the front when it matters on lap 75. But we still have a little ways to go until that happens. We have now 18 laps to go, 17 laps to go now, and these guys are just, it's hard to say they're exercising restraint, but yeah, well, no, they're not.
Move on each other there, so not a lot of restraint. You said it's hard to say they're exercising restraint. They went 3 wide as soon as you said that. I think that's just how it's been all day today. I mean, the restraint is not just blowing through each other and wrecking. You know, it's making calculated moves, and these 3 have been better than anyone at doing this. They almost make contact. Man, it is an incredible battle that we have here between these 3 trucks. They're so equally matched, and they're good in every lane of the track. It has been stellar to watch this.
Yeah, as Duke said, they are racing just about darn eagerly, and they have been clean so far, and it's been a great battle, and I gotta wonder if they can somehow, by some miracle, make it clean all the way, but we already saw another close call, and they're just, it feels like they're hanging on for dear life sometimes.
Yeah, and when we said exercising restraint, that starts to go out the window now, because we're coming to 15 laps to go, and these guys, I think Nomana's going to lose a spot now to Nathan Stapleton in this 08 truck. But yeah, when I said restraint, take that with a very fine pinch of salt, because these guys are going all out as Thomas gets into the wall once again.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to really come down to who's able to run the cleanest last few laps, who's able to place themselves in the right spot coming into the final lap and the final.
It really is like a super speedway in that sense.
Yeah, because that's exactly, we talk about putting yourself in the bottom lane at super speedways and wanting to be in the bottom lane in the last 10 laps and moving up through the field that way. But here, it's similar. You want to be somebody who has the opportunity to get past, because we just saw in 2 laps Nathan Stapleton go up through the field, at least through the top 5 or 6, and make it to the lead. So if you can put yourself where Nathan Stapleton was just a few laps ago, you could pass all of these guys that have dominated this race from the front of the field, possibly just for enough time so you cross the finish line first.
Yeah, so what I want to notice is that there's about an equal mix of playoff and non-playoff trucks up there right now. Yep. And so that Ryan Grigsby and Jin Zanomina, do they want to risk it too much? Because we saw how it worked out for Brandon Smith, how he is, his championship is just about out of the question now. And these other two, do they want to risk it, or are they going to end up in the same place as Brandon Smith?
Oh, and Stapleton into the wall. And like you said, while Nomina isn't in the championship hunt, Grigsby sure is, and so is Yadis Terzic up there. So these guys need to exercise a little more restraint, like I've been saying. And Samantha Jade now making her way up, and Kev Shearer. We got 4 playoff drivers in the top 10, as we now have 11 laps to go.
Yeah, well, and we talked about how Brandon Smith was starting this race in a big hole, 48 points back. Terzic is in a much similar situation, was 40 points back going into this race. At the same time, we've got a lap truck coming up that could really shake this whole thing up. So everybody is catching this 6 truck once again. And here we go. The first 2 are single file, so it should be no problem for the 65. The 66 and is going to get stuck behind because of Terzic on the bottom.
I mean, that is not great considering those 2 are teammates, and all the 66 just about put him in the wall as a bit of revenge there, but now he's holding up another truck on the high side.
Yeah, that's that's Grigsby there, and Stapleton. They've both cycled their way to the back. That is not going to do them any favors, and there might be some harsh words between them and the 6 after this race is over. Now they finally get to the bottom, but they've clearly now fallen out of the top 10 as a result of that.
And they probably fall out of contention with that. I'm just not sure there's enough time left in this race to have a chance. But here comes Terzic on the bottom for the lead over the 65 truck. This driver needs a big day today. Has been running in the top 5 and now has taken the lead. Was 40 points behind Francois Chastain going into this race, and now has the opportunity to maximize the day with the lead of this one right now on lap 68 of 75. A great move to take the lead, but now it's all going to be defense. You got to stay up there. You got to give yourself a chance to be there when the checkered flag flies.
Yeah, if it wasn't chaotic enough, the 2 trucks that were shuffled out, I don't think they're going to give up so easily. I think they're going to make a frantic rush to the front of the field if they can, and that's just going to add on top of all of the crazes we've seen already, as there's just about 6 laps to go, and there's just so many trucks with a chance to take it here, including the 3 that are almost 3 wide for the lead right now.
Yeah, and we're talking about Terzic. Keep in mind, Francois Chastain has been out of this race for a long time. So this is a golden opportunity for everybody to gain points. None less than the 8, who's 9th in points going into this race. As Nomina takes the lead, we're coming to 5 laps to go this time they cross the line.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. I am just not sure where you need to place yourself right now. We're getting to the point where you got to watch those people in 5th or 6th, maybe on the bottom lane, people who are going to be kind of cycling towards the front. You're looking at that 22 truck. The 02, of course, is right here, and the 65 leading the way. We've got Henry Thomas back there right now. So keep your eye on those guys that are a little bit farther back on the inside lane. They might have the opportunity here to be in the right place at the right time coming across the finish line.
Yeah, it is going to be really interesting to be able to see. Will one of those dominant trucks, like Nomina or Thomas, get the win? Or are we going to have a dark horse, because there are plenty of opportunities for one of them to slip in and take this win? And I really think it could go either way, as we now have 3 laps to go.
4 laps to go now. And if you want a dark horse, how about that blue and white truck back there, Noah Hart, in that 11 truck? He's clawed his way up to the front, and we're coming to 3 laps to go. He's now in prime position to get a big win after being involved in a couple accidents today.
Yeah, that truck looks amazing. I mean, we see a lot of these trucks up towards the front. with some damage on all four corners, and that truck is looking great despite being involved in a few accidents. So right now, that 11 truck is in great position. Meanwhile, another person in great position is Terzic once again, moving to the inside lane, trying to make that move, but Henry Thomas leads the way right now and loves seeing behind a three-wide battle for second place. Terzic is going to clear both of them, going through the corner. An incredible move from the 8 truck right in time. Can he get up there and win this race?
2 more laps for Henry Thomas. He is driving the wheels off that thing right now, hoping that the trucks behind him can't get cleared out enough to make a move, and so he can get this win. Because, man, I don't know, man. We're about to hit the white flag, and we have a move for the lead.
And remember, Henry Thomas has not won in a very long time. And the white flag flies. This is his turbo truck debut, but he wants a win more than anything. But I don't know if he's going to get it, because here comes Terzic to the inside for the lead. Janis Terzic powers his way to the lead down the back straightaway, and as we enter 3 and 4 for the final time, Janis Terzic, the Bosnian, who's only ever led 3 laps today, is going to come off of turn 4. It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. They're side by side at the stripe, and it's Terzic by half a car length. Man.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, what a race. I was out of my seat. My goodness. A fantastic ending to a fantastic week of racing at this track. Oh my goodness, that was just absolutely incredible. A photo finish at the line. Wow. Can you even believe it?
I can't, and I gotta say, I'm surprised that we did not see more yellow flags and that they were able to race that hard for that long, and that the Thomas and Nomina were able to get some good finishes after being fast all day, that they didn't get taken out after all of that chaos.
So Terzic wins his first career win in one-up competition. Henry Thomas comes up 4/100ths of a second short in second. Jensen Nomina, career best finish for him. Kev Shearer, another top 5 in fourth. Ahead of Samantha Jade, gets her first top 5 finish of the season, or at least her first top 5 since I believe it was Auto Club, back at race 2 when she got that result.
Oh, wow.
Chris Harvey comes home 6th ahead of DJ Curtis, who gets the fastest lap of the race. And Earl Sear, Jacob Buchholz, and Noah Hart complete the top 10. Man, what a race we just saw. And like you said, not many yellow flags. When we had them, they were important, but not so to the point where it ruined the whole race. Incredible stuff. And just to think, we still have 5 more races to go this season to decide a championship. So, from Miles Mashburn, from Duke Ansack, and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Springfield Mile. We're out of breath from this race. An incredible showing from all 38 drivers, and none more so than Janis Terzic, who pulls one out of the water. He gets a big win today.